Hello and welcome to the Library of Wisdom. Today we're going to take a moment to pause and look into the deepest part of our minds, because that is where your life is truly lived. Have you ever had a sleepless night worrying about money? Have you ever felt the pressure to have more, or felt small when comparing yourself to others? It's okay. We all pass through nights like that. Today we want to speak to that tired heart. Not about money, but about your mind's relationship with money. Amazingly, the deepest comfort and clearest answer to this anxiety can be found in a philosopher from 2,000 years ago. A man who was one of the wealthiest in the Roman Empire, but called himself a physician of the soul, Lucius Annaeus Seneca. By the end of this journey, you will feel not a fear of money, but a firm sense of control over your own life. Let's begin our 10-minute exploration of wisdom together. The first pillar of Seneca's philosophy is the dichotomy of control. It is the wisdom of clearly dividing the world into two parts, that which we can control and that which we cannot. This is the beginning of all tranquility. The only things truly in our power are internal, our thoughts and our attitudes. In contrast, external things like wealth and fame are subject to countless variables far beyond our command. So, how should we view wealth and poverty if we can't control them? Stoicism calls them indifference. This means they are neither good nor bad in themselves. They do not determine our happiness or the value of our character. Of course, we may prefer wealth over poverty, but for the wise person, their happiness is never shaken, whether they possess wealth or lose it, because their happiness does not depend on anything external. This leads to the ultimate goal of Stoicism, apatheia, a state of unshakable tranquility. It is an inner peace, free from disturbing passions like fear, greed, or anger. This is the true source of happiness. Upon these principles, Seneca redefines wealth. He says the truly rich man is not he who has the most, but he who desires the least. If your mind wants for nothing, you already possess the entire world. Conversely, true poverty is not an empty wallet, but a spiritual hunger that can never be satisfied. No matter how much one owns, if they constantly crave more, they are the poorest soul in the world. Seneca warns that wealth is a double-edged sword. Used wisely, it is a helpful tool. But if you cling to it foolishly, it becomes a master that will ruin your life. Are you the master of your wealth, or its slave? Ultimately, the fear of poverty stems from our own internal false judgment that poverty is a terrible disaster, and this judgment is the only thing we have complete control over. Now let's begin the training to change it. The first exercise is the premeditation of evils. Every morning, close your eyes and specifically imagine losing the things you hold dear: your job, your home, your health, even your most precious relationships. Seneca said, "The blow that is foreseen is less severe." This practice is like a psychological vaccination for the mind. By experiencing the worst in your imagination, you prepare yourself to not be paralyzed by shock when real misfortune strikes. And then a greater miracle occurs. In the moment you imagine losing everything, you paradoxically feel a profound and genuine gratitude for the things you have right now. This is the true purpose of the exercise. The second exercise has you confront the nature of fear directly. It is the practice of voluntary poverty. This means periodically and intentionally living as though you were poor. For example, you might try a no-spend weekend, or subsist on a very simple diet for a day. You live without your usual comforts and simply observe the changes in your body and mind. At the end of this experience, you will ask yourself, is this truly everything I was so afraid of? You will realize for yourself how little is actually necessary for survival and how exaggerated your fears have been. By voluntarily exposing yourself to these small stressors, your mind is trained to become anti-fragile. It doesn't just resist shocks, it gets stronger from them. What hits you makes you better. This raises a question. If Seneca was so detached from wealth, why was he one of the richest men in Rome? Was he a hypocrite? Seneca gives a clear answer to this charge. First, he saw his wealth not as his own, but as a loan from fortune, which could be recalled at any moment. The key was not the possession of wealth, but the inner attitude, the ability to maintain composure upon its loss. Second, he believed that wealth provided a broader stage on which to practice virtue. It is easier to be generous and helpful to others when you are wealthy than when you are poor. His fortune, in a way, was the ultimate training ground for his philosophy. At the end of this journey of wisdom, Seneca reminds us of the only asset we truly possess: time. Money and possessions come and go, but the yesterday you spent in useless worry will never return. We often mortgage our present time for the sake of a comfortable future, but that future is uncertain and may never come at all. Where is your precious, irreplaceable time being invested right now? Seneca's wisdom invites us to take our rightful place as the masters of our own lives. Wealth is a state of mind, and fear is an error in judgment, controllable through choice and training. Become the proud architect of your inner world, not a slave to your environment.